Okage Shadow King is weird. Don't play it. But, check it out, because it's weird. See you in 10 days. Bye. So I bring it upon myself to play some obscure games that happen to have elements that make them stand out. There are few things that can give me greater pleasure than going up to someone, introducing them to a game they've never heard of, and knowing that some element will get its hooks into them and they'll have a new cult classic to enjoy. Okage Shadow King stood out as one of those, having a quirky, somewhat self-aware style of humor, Nightmare Before Christmas-esque outlandish character designs, and... basically just its sense of style. What it ends up being is a rather plodding and straightforward RPG ruined by inconsistent writing, constant load times, and a lack of really standout moments. The game dares to fly close to the sun with intriguing parodies of business culture and the effects of pop music on an ignorant population, but then reverts to tired old tropes and mindless progression from speaking to everyone in town randomly. Add in a rather shallow battle system with only a few cute ideas like waiting turns to do team-up attacks and outright bad dungeon design, and Okage ultimately feels unfinished, disappointing, oddly bland. So that's why it's so striking to me that it has a boss fight that most other turn-based RPGs wish they could have. It's not a fight of spectacle. Please, nothing's a looker in this game. Or particularly exciting, but it's hard. Almost unfairly hard at times. But not unjustifiably hard. In using very specific mechanics, the framing of the evil Lord Big Bull boss fight puts a pressure on players that's shockingly both intentional and well executed. And considering the turn-based, methodical nature of JRPGs, that is a huge plus. Big Bull, at a first glance, seems to be a comic relief character. Talking like an out-of-world wrestler ripped straight from the early 90s, he just wants to have a good fight with your party of Umbrella Girl, Ordinary Boy, the best character from A Hat in Time, and this garbage character who will no longer be acknowledged because I hate him. Big Bull wants the spectacle of you challenging for his self-appointed title belt in the thrilling depths of a dank old tree he knows. Taking a second glance, however, Big Bull is still a comic relief character, but he's got a massive 2,746 HP. Brother. The second most durable enemy in the entire game after the final boss, and absolutely will not die. And this is about halfway through the game, mind you, not even in spitting distance of that final fight. To compound this, he's massively powerful, able to one-shot your garbage third man who will not be named or acknowledged fairly consistently with just his basic attack. Winning a damage race against this guy is nearly impossible with your meager HP pools, even with consistent healing. The key to this fight, then, is the Black Cat Jewel. It's a consumable, one-use item that shows up in the dungeon directly before, in this treasure chest that's impossible to miss. It's got a cap of 999 damage, but otherwise it automatically brings everyone in the fight down to half health. It's pretty much the only way anyone's going to make it through, but it does have the obvious drawback of everyone in the fight. That means your party suffers too. That shouldn't be a problem. Just bring his health down, heal up, and wow, instant advantage, right? That's where the burly bulls come in. Not wanting to settle for pretending to be a bull like some people, Big Bull surrounds himself with 4 of the real deal. These guys absolutely love to inflict your party members with Seal, which prevents skills that cost magic points from being used. Particularly dangerous if it hits Ari, your healer. However, status effects in Okage stack. Apply 2 seals, and you can't use any special moves at all. Apply 3, and now items are banned. And considering only one character knows healing moves and only one character knows status recovery, these stacking puts you in a bad way and fast. In this way, every move against Big Bull becomes valuable. Play too defensively and you run the risk of Big Bull and his backup one-shotting a character with a combo attack. Play too offensively and Big Bull won't need a combo. He'll just one-shot your unprotected and weakened party on his own. Read the room wrong, and you'll have all your characters silenced, unable to find that perfect middle ground you were looking for. And there's no easy solution to wipe out the bulls either. Rosalind is your only party member who can use group hitting attacks, and she also has to juggle an incredibly useful attack debuff, healing off seals, and being your main source of single target damage. You can buff up an ally with Ari's Overdrive, giving them a chance to use a full group-hitting burst, but not only does that waste their attack buff on a fairly inaccurate attack and use up your only healer's turn, but it lowers Ari's HP as well, putting him in range for Big Bull to take him to the SmackDown Hotel. And if Ari goes down, it's game over for main character reasons. So can you really afford to take that risk? Okage got me to do something that I never have to do in a JRPG. Consider my actions for every turn and every character. It got me to actually go back to town and buy items, so I would have a full stock of seal removers, so that Garbage Man could act as a secondary healer, if he happened to be alive. It got me to use status effects, trying to put the boss's minions to sleep so that I could have just one more turn with Rosalind to dispel status and then kill a bull dead. It got me to actively change who I had attacking and defending on the fly, instead of just a designated best attacker, best healer, guy who I brought along specifically to answer the boss's debuffs, and so on and so forth. My strategy for this battle was completely different from any other I'd implemented in Okage, and it felt both fair and good to play with it. And that's something I've missed from a lot of JRPGs. This game isn't gonna win any kind of awards. It's got a fascinating fairy tale aesthetic and identity that occasionally comes at odds with its JRPG nature. It doesn't quite know if it wants to be a parody or a deconstruction. Normal encounters are agonizing. Magic is generally worthless outside of boss fights, and every single building is a load screen, which is just the worst. Big Bull doesn't really develop, he just joins you because he doesn't have anything better to do than beat people up, which you happen to do a lot of as a JRPG protagonist. But sometimes, there's a glimmer of hope in this game. A boss fight like bulls that make you think about how other RPGs could learn from it. In other games, using a boss's weakness wouldn't require much thought. But here, a seemingly optional, totally disposable item is used instead, punishing the player with grinding if they waste it in an earlier fight. And even after the fact, it puts the player in a state where they have to think about every action they take. Who can afford to use the Black Cat Jewel so that the other two characters can get a turn in? What will the other two do with those turns? Who could survive Big Bull at half health? Who would stay open if the other bulls seal their magic? Those are questions that even some of my favorite RPGs rarely ever pose. And if just one boss in an otherwise mediocre game can elevate itself to pose that question, well, I think that's something special. Okage may not know how to design something consistently enjoyable, but Big Bull has figured out how to design for pressure.